2002, a U.S. Special Forces unit encountered something in the mountains of Afghanistan that officially never happened. A 12-foot-tall humanoid creature with red hair, 6 fingers, and double rows of teeth allegedly killed one American soldier before being taken down in a 30-minute firefight. The military immediately classified everything, shipped the body out on a cargo plane, and ordered everyone involved to sign non-disclosure agreements. But here's the thing. Multiple soldiers have now broken their silence, and their stories are disturbingly consistent. In this episode, we're diving deep into the legend of the Giant of Kandahar, examining the evidence, the cover-up claims, and asking the question that haunts military forums to this day. What really happened in those Afghan mountains? But before we dive in, some of the details in this story are disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. All right, let's dive into the video. It's 2002, and the United States is deep in the early days of Operation Enduring Freedom. Afghanistan is a war zone, a chaotic blend of desert, mountains, and ancient caves that have seen centuries of conflict. U.S. forces are scattered across the region, hunting Taliban fighters and searching for answers in a land that feels like it's holding secrets older than time itself. Somewhere in the Kandahar region, a routine patrol of the U.S. Army soldiers goes missing. This isn't unusual in itself. Patrols often lose contact in the remote mountains, where radio signals falter and the terrain is unforgiving. But this time, something feels off. Days pass with no word, no distress call, no trace, just silence. A special operations task force, possibly Army Rangers or Green Berets, is dispatched to find the missing squad. What they discover is something no training could have prepared them for. As they navigate a winding goat path up a rocky cliff, they come across a cave. Outside, they find fragments of U.S. military equipment, broken rifles, torn uniforms, and bones. Human bones, cracked and discarded like refuse. The soldiers approach the cave, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air is thick with a stench, a putrid, rotting smell, like a pile of decaying corpses left in the sun. They step cautiously, their boots crunching on the gravel. And then, it emerges. It's not human. Not entirely. Standing between 12 and 15 feet tall, the creature is a grotesque mockery of a man. Its skin is weathered, almost leathery, stretched tight over bulging muscles. Its face is a nightmare. Double rows of jagged teeth like something out of a prehistoric predator's jaw. Its red hair, matted and wild, cascades down its back, and its hands, 6 fingers on each, gripping a spear the size of a small tree. Before the soldiers can react, the giant lunges. With a single thrust, it drives its spear through one of the men. Let's call him Dan, as some accounts do. The spear pierces his chest, lifting him off the ground like a rag doll. Blood sprays across the rocks, glistening in the moonlight. The soldiers open fire, their rifles roaring in the night. Bullets tore into the creature's face, its chest, its limbs. But it doesn't fall. Not at first. It takes 30 seconds of sustained gunfire, hundreds of rounds, before the giant finally collapses, its massive body hitting the ground with a thunderous crash. The survivors are left in shock. The creature's body lies sprawled across the cave entrance, its blood pooling in the dirt. It weighs, they estimate, over 1,100 pounds. Some say closer to 1,500. A helicopter is called in, and the corpse is airlifted away, never to be seen again. The soldiers are ordered to rewrite their after-action reports, scrubbing any mention of the giant. The official story? Nothing happened. Just another day in the war. The story of the Giant of Kandahar first surfaced publicly around 2008 when author and radio host Stephen Quayle discussed it on Coast to Coast AM, a show known for diving into the paranormal and unexplained. Quayle claimed the incident was classified, buried by the U.S. government to avoid panic or scrutiny. But the story gained traction in 2016, when author and filmmaker L.A. Marzulli released an episode of his Watchers series on YouTube, featuring an interview with an anonymous soldier who claimed to be part of the task force. This shooter, as Marzulli called him, provided the chilling details we've come to associate with the legend. The soldier described the giant as a Nephilim, a biblical term from Genesis 6 that refers to the offspring of fallen angels and human women. These beings, according to Scripture, were giants, monstrous hybrids who roamed the earth before the Great Flood. The shooter claimed the creature's stench was unbearable, like rotting flesh mixed with sulfur. He said it took multiple direct hits to the face to bring it down, and even then, it seemed almost unnatural in its resilience. The Nephilim connection isn't just a random leap. Afghanistan's history is steeped in tales of giants and monstrous beings. Ancient texts from the region, including Persian and Zoroastrian myths, speak of towering creatures that once ruled the mountains. Some locals in Kandahar still whisper about wild men or barmanu, relict hominids said to haunt the remote peaks. Could the Giant of Kandahar be a remnant of these ancient stories? Or is it something else entirely? The shooter's account wasn't the only one. In 2020, YouTuber and former Navy SEAL Mr. Balin shared a version of the story, claiming he heard it from a fellow soldier while deployed in Afghanistan. He described the mountains as strange, a place where the rules of reality seemed to bend. Commenters on his video echoed this, with some claiming they'd heard similar stories from veterans. One even mentioned a pilot who allegedly transported the giant's body out of Bagram airfield, describing it as a 1,500-pound corpse with red hair and 6 fingers. Social media posts on platforms have kept the story alive, with users claiming insider knowledge or second-hand accounts from military personnel. One post even suggested the giant's body is preserved in a vat of formaldehyde somewhere in a secret facility. But here's where things get murky. The Department of Defense has no record of this incident. No soldier named Dan died in Kandahar in 2002 under these circumstances. The official narrative? It's a myth, a fabrication, a conspiracy theory spun by creative minds like Marzulli and Quayle. Before we continue on, if you are enjoying the video so far, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't like it, let me know down in the comments. Your support truly means everything. All right, back to the video. The Giant of Kandahar story hinges on a few key sources: the anonymous shooter, Stephen Quayle's radio show, and Mr. Balin's retelling. But there's no physical evidence, no photos, no videos, no declassified documents. The soldiers involved, if they exist, are either bound by non-disclosure agreements or simply don't exist. The only proof is anecdotal, passed down through whispers and online forums. Reddit communities like R High Strangeness and R Military vs. The Unknown have debated the story for years. Some users call it a hoax, pointing to the lack of concrete evidence and Marzulli's questionable track record. Others argue that the military's secrecy makes it plausible. After all, why would they admit to encountering a biblical giant? One user even compared it to older stories of Russian soldiers encountering a wild man in Tajikistan during the 1920s, suggesting a pattern of suppressed cryptid encounters in the region. The military's silence is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it fuels speculation. Why wouldn't they cover up something this bizarre? On the other, it's exactly what you'd expect if the story was fabricated. No bodies, no witnesses willing to go on record, no paper trail. Just a tale that grows with every retelling. But let's entertain the possibility for a moment. Afghanistan's cave systems are vast and largely unexplored. Some date back thousands of years, carved by ancient civilizations or natural erosion. Could someone have survived in those depths, undetected by modern technology? Cryptozoologists point to creatures like Bigfoot or the Yeti, suggesting relict hominids could persist in remote areas. The Giant of Kandahar, with its 6 fingers and unnatural size, doesn't quite fit that mold, but it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. There's also the Nephilim angle. The Bible's description of giants, beings born of angels and humans, has fascinated theologians and conspiracy theorists alike. Some point to ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, which describes the Nephilim as towering, violent creatures who were wiped out in the flood, or so we're told. Could a remnant have survived, hiding in the mountains of Afghanistan? It's a stretch, but the idea has a certain allure. Whether real or not, the Giant of Kandahar has left its mark on pop culture. You can buy t-shirts, posters, even tote bags featuring comic book-style illustrations of the giant spearing a soldier. It's become a modern myth, a blend of biblical lore, military conspiracy, and cryptid fascination. YouTubers like Mr. Ballin and Forgotten History have racked up millions of views retelling the story, while artists on platforms like Reddit and DeviantArt create haunting depictions of the creature. The story's persistence raises a question. Why does it resonate? Maybe it's the allure of the unknown, the idea that there are still mysteries in a world mapped by satellites and drones. Maybe it's the horror of war, where soldiers face not just human enemies but the specter of something other. Or maybe it's just a good story, one that taps into our primal fear of things bigger, stronger, and older than us. In the end, the Giant of Kandahar is more than a cryptid. It's a symbol of the secrets war keeps, of the stories soldiers tell to make sense of the chaos, and of our endless fascination with the unknown. Whether it's a Nephilim, a relic hominid, or just a tall tale, it's a reminder that some mysteries refuse to stay buried. So what do you think? Was the Giant of Kandahar a real encounter, suppressed by a military desperate to keep the truth hidden? Or is it a modern myth, born from the stress of war and the human need to explain the unexplainable? The truth, as always, is elusive. But one thing is certain. In the mountains of Kandahar, the shadows still hold secrets. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing scarier than this story is missing out on our next video.